Hey, Marcus Howard here, and in this video I want to show you how you can double your memory power in under 10 minutes flat. Now, if you're a college student or maybe a high school student or possibly a grad student and you're in a situation where you need to take exams, then you're going to really enjoy this video because I'm going to show you how to essentially double the amount of information that you can put into your brain with doing a lot less work. So the reason why I learned this method, or how I learned this method, is I was a crammer my whole life. I was the person who 12 hours before the test was trying to study everything that I could and cram everything into my brain so that when exam time came, I can just go ahead and spit it out and regurgitate it. And I mean, I was up to even 5 minutes before the test started, looking at my notes at the end, and as the professor was passing out the test, I had to go ahead and put my notes away. But one of the things that I didn't notice back then when I was cramming is that there was another group of people who weren't doing that. They came and they sat down, they organized their pens and their paper and their pencils, and they were essentially ready to take the test. They weren't reviewing their notes. And then when the professor passed out the exam, they ended up being some of the ones who finished first. And when the grades came out and you saw the curve, they were the ones at the top of the curve. So I was always asking myself, what is it that they were doing? What are the study methods that they're using that are allowing them to do so much better on exams than I was? And that's what I want to share with you in this video today. I want to show you what they were doing to keep more information in their minds so they didn't have to cram for exams. So in order to do this, I could give you the long scientific explanation of why this works, but one, that's going to take too much time. And two, you don't have to know the long scientific explanation of how this works to benefit from the fact that it works. So in order to save time, I'm just going to jump straight into the exercise. But if you want the resources and the information on the science behind this, what I'll do is at the end of the video, I'll show you how you'll be able to get access to this information. But in the meantime, let's just talk really quickly about how your memory works. Now, you may have seen this iconic image before of the iceberg, with the whole kind of message behind it being 90% of an iceberg is below the surface in terms of the mass, right? And the things that we see is only at the top, and it's 10%. Well, the same thing can be said about your memory power. We would say that only about 10% of your memory power is above the surface. The rest is below the surface in what we call the subconscious mind. Now, this area of your brain can remember things very easily. But what most people end up doing, and I know what I was doing before I learned this method as a crammer, is I was trying to cram so much information in that top 10%, and I wasn't utilizing this other 90% of my body and my persons and my mind that allowed me to remember more information and a lot easier. So what we're going to do with this exercise is I'm going to show you how to take the information that you are, having to put in for your test and send it straight down into the subconscious mind so that it can easily sit there. And honestly, it stays there forever. Like, it doesn't just stay for the exam. It stays there pretty much forever. So without further ado, let's jump into this exercise. I want to show you right now how you can double your memory power in under 10 minutes. Now, before I can show you the actual exercise itself, we need to do a control exercise so that we know what we're doubling, because there's no way I can tell you that you're going to double your memory power if you don't even know what your memory power is now. So the first exercise is going to be this. I'm going to give you a list of 10 words, and I want you to remember them in whatever way you can. The only rule is don't write them down. We're using our mind power here. So I'm going to give you the list in whatever way you can. I'll give you 1 minute to remember as much as you can, and we will start now. "15 seconds. Okay, stop. Now I'm gonna give you about 30 seconds. Now what I want you to do is collect yourself and try to recall as many words as you can. So 30 seconds, go. Okay, that was about 30 seconds. Now I'm gonna put the list back up here. How many were you able to recall? Now, obviously I couldn't hear the answer to your question because this is a video, but what I will do is go over the statistics that I know. 80% of the people can remember between 4 and 6 of the words that were on this list. So that's 80% can only remember 4 and 6. Another 19% can remember 7 or 8. So about 1 in 5, or 20% of people, 19% to be exact, can remember 7 or 8. Only 1% can remember 9 or 10. So either you fall anywhere between the 4 to 8 range, 8 being on the higher than average. And if you were somebody who remembered 9 or 10, either one or two things are happening. Either you're a memory genius and you don't need to watch this video anymore, it's fine. Or 2, you were cheating. And I'm going to assume that you remember 9 or 10, you're probably a cheater, pumpkin eater, and that's fine. But for those of us who didn't remember 9 or 10, I want to give you another method for how you can remember this, or this list, and essentially we're going to get you to double the memory capacity. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to give you a second list of words, but they're going to be similar. They're not going to be the same. And first I want you to imagine a room. And in this room, it could be your dorm room, it could be your bedroom, it could be the room you're currently in. But what I want you to do is imagine that you're looking straight in this room, and in the top left corner, we're going to put the number 1. Essentially, we're going to place 10 objects around the room in 10 different places. So the objects are obviously going to be what's on the list, but point number 1 is going to be at the top left. Point number 2 is going to be directly in front of you. Number 3 is the top right. Number 4 is the middle right. Number 5 is the back right. Number 6 is directly behind you. Number 7 is the bottom left. Number 8 is the middle left. Number 9 is the ceiling, and number 10 is the floor. So here's the exercise. I'm going to show you this next list of 10 words. I want you to place each of the words in order around the room. So around the 4 walls and then up on the floor and the ceiling. Now the rule to make this work very well is you want to have the objects do something. So let's say that the first object, it's not, but let's say the first object is a muffin. If I wanted to remember a muffin, what I'm going to do is I'm going to place a morbidly obese man in the corner completely devouring the muffin, because I will never forget that, right? So you want to make it active. You want to have that there. So I'm going to give you the second list of words. It's going to be 1 minute. We're going to do the same thing. And let's see, again, your entire goal is to place the different objects throughout the room. So go. $30 seconds. $10 seconds. Okay, stop. Now let's try something different this time. Tell me, what is the third word on the list? Tomato, right? Tell me what's the sixth word on the list. The word directly behind you. Beef, right? Great. Now, go through them in order. I'll give you 20 seconds. Now, if you've done this exercise right, what you should find is on average, people do about 4 or 5 out of 10. You should have gotten 9 out of 10 or all of them correctly. Now, when I'm working with clients, that's usually what happens. Sometimes when I'm working with them, they may only get 6 or 7 right. And usually it's a matter of we just have to up their imagination a little bit. But 90% of the people who do this exercise get 9 or 10 correct. So I'm going to assume that that's what you did. I just gave you the method really quickly on how you can double your memory power. Now, let me tell you how you can use this when you're studying. If you are taking, for example, a foreign language and you need to remember terms, you need to remember definitions. Instead of trying to rote memorize them the way that you would normally do it before, then what you would do is just place the word in the object, not in the same room, but choose another room in your house or something, and you would place the objects around the room, and you would have this kind of same interaction going where you can easily remember the words. Or let's say you were taking a biology class, you need to remember terms. Or you're taking a chemistry class, you need to remember the things of the periodic table. This is a very great method for being able to learn these types of things. And the important part is that once you have it in here, you'll never forget it, because I'll show you how you can remember it forever. If you take this same room that you just did, and then you get this stuff memorized, and then you practice it again tomorrow, so you do it again, and then you do it one more time the next day, and then after that you just do it once a week until the month is over, you'll have this in your mind forever. I can talk to you a year from now, and I can say, what was the 4th thing in the room, and you would always know it. So this will be with you forever. It's great for memorizing lists of terms, lists of information, definitions, and things like that. Now, what this is not going to be helpful for you for, this particular method is not going to be helpful to do critical thinking type tests. So let's say you're doing a test and you have to do a long essay. Well, this long essay is not going to help you. Well, this method is not going to help you with the long essay, because what you're going to need to do is to be able to synthesize that information in such a way where you can use it for the essay. This is great for remembering lists. So if you are remembering lists, then this is a perfect thing for you. Again, I want to keep this video short, so I just want to thank you for your time, and hopefully you can go out and start using this to doubling your memory. Now, if this has helped you in any way, I want to ask a favor. Now, this isn't about selling anything. We don't have anything to sell, but what we truly are trying to do is create an environment in our education system where students are taught the proper ways that they can learn. Because in reality, I didn't learn this particular method until my senior year of college. If I would have had this in high school, school would have been so much easier for me. If I would have had this method and been able to use it all through college, I wouldn't have had to stress so much, and I wouldn't have had to study so hard. So what me and a group of other people are trying to do, a group of entomologists, we're trying to go out and really get this into the curriculum in different schools. So if you could help us by signing the petition below, this way we can go ahead and send it over to the Department of Education to start getting processes like these, learning how to learn, into the curriculum. And as a thank you for doing that, what we're also going to do is I'm going to send you over a bonus training. And this training is going to be on how to remember names. I don't know if you're anything like me, but when I first started trying to remember names, I mean, they would be gone in seconds. It would be hard for me to remember most people's names when I see them the next day. But once I started applying this method that I'm going to give you in this bonus training, you'll be able to remember people's names easily. You'll be able to remember them forever. So I want to send that to you as a thank you for helping us to sign this petition. And also, if you go ahead and sign the petition, I'll also be able to send you over the resources on the scientific basis behind what we did today. So again, thank you very much for checking out this video. Hopefully you like the Facebook page, because we're going to be putting more cool information out like this. So if you want to take advantage of more of this type of information, then just go ahead and click the like button so it can be in your news feed. Until then, let's go out there and keep doubling our memory power.